and of the marlin, its long white bones shining in the sun. Some shook their heads in disbelief.
السلام عليكم.
عمر يا مس. عمر.
لا بس أيوة بس أنا دخلت.
Others whispered about the courage of the old man who had fought it alone. But Santiago did not seek their praise. He walked slowly to the beach, leaning on his stick with the boy close by his side. Together, they looked at the wide blue sea. "Are you ready, boy?" Santiago asked. "Yes, Manolin said firmly.
مس
"I am
هو
ready to..."
الفيديو نفسه ملهوش صوت؟ لا.
السامعين.
صوت الفيديو لا.
learn everything. They put the skiff
لا
into
برضه.
the water.
يا مس وقت الشرب يبقى بيبين. أتوقع وقت الشرب يبين إن إحنا نقدر نحط أوديو ولا لأ. ممكن.
And set out once again. The wind was light, the waves
لا برضه. لا يا مس.
were gentle. The boy worked the lines with more skill than before, while Santiago guided the boat with steady hands. As the hours passed, Santiago spoke of the sea not as an enemy but as a companion. The sea gives us food, tests our strength, and teaches us humility. Some men call her cruel, but I call her a teacher. The boy listened carefully. Each word seemed to sink into him like a seed. He knew these lessons were not only about fishing, but about life itself. By midday, they caught several good fish. The boy pulled in one almost by himself, his arms burning with effort, but his heart filled with pride. Santiago watched silently, his eyes shining with quiet satisfaction. "You are becoming a fisherman," he said at last, "not just in your hands, but in your spirit." The boy smiled, though he was tired. "It is because you teach me." "No," Santiago replied softly. "It is because you have the courage to learn." In the afternoon, they rested on the rocking boat, eating pieces of fish and drinking water. The sea was calm, and the horizon stretched endlessly before them. "Old man," the boy asked suddenly, "do you regret fighting the great marlin?" Santiago thought for a long moment. "No, boy, I regret nothing. The struggle gave my life meaning. Even in defeat, I was not broken. Remember this. Man is not defeated when he loses. He is defeated only when he gives up." The boy nodded slowly, taking in the weight of the words. As the sun began to set, painting the sea in colors of fire and gold, they turned back toward the shore. The boat was heavy with fish, but more than that, it carried the spirit of hope. When they arrived, villagers gathered again. This time, they did not only look at the fish, they looked at the boy, strong and determined, and at the old man, who no longer seemed weak but full of quiet dignity. That night in the small hut, Santiago lay down to sleep. His body was still tired, but his heart was light. Manolin sat beside him, sharpening the hooks for the next day. As Santiago fell asleep, the lions returned in his dream. They ran across the African beaches, wild and free, full of strength and joy. But this time, Santiago was not alone. The boy stood beside him in the dream, watching
ماله كذا مرة.
the lions with eyes full of wonder. And Santiago understood. The lions were no longer only his. They belonged to the boy as well. The dream the spirit, the fight, these had been passed on. The sea would test them again, as it always did. But Santiago knew the future was safe. The boy would carry his lessons forward, and the lions would never stop running on the sands of memory. The old man smiled in his sleep, the sound of the waves whispering like a lullaby. The sea had taken much from him, but it had also given him something greater, the promise of renewal. It was not an ending, it was a new beginning.